still alive, back with another one, man. And we're gonna get right off into this, man. So as much as I hate on the way OKC plays, I'm gonna go at this from a different angle. I'm gonna play somebody who's making a video to defend OKC this time, and I'm gonna react to it. So we're gonna get right off into this, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe below. Let's do it.
And most shockingly of all, the league's golden boy, the man the entire basketball world thought played the game the right way. Caught on bull, two-time L's, rookie players getting bulldozed, a two-time MVP getting trucked on live television, and most shockingly of all,
that was just a hard play. That wasn't a dirty foul or nothing. Shea fucking exaggerated this big time.
Getting bulldozed, a two-time MVP getting trucked on live television.
Trucked on live TV. Okay, I already see how unbiased we're about to be.
And most shockingly of all, the league's golden boy, the man the entire basketball world thought played the game the right way. Caught on camera ordering his teammates to go out there and hurt people. That's right, Victor Wembanyama himself was caught on replay camera, lip read by the NBC broadcast, mouthing 2 words to his backup bigs before they checked into a garbage time game. Hard fouls. And what happened next? Exactly what you think happened.
Good, because look what's been happening. Look, he's been getting fouled like crazy. Look, this is a dangerous play. Look at what Chet is doing here. Grabbing his arm backwards while he's jumping. That is a very easy way to dislocate somebody's shoulder or something like that. That's not a hard foul. That's a dirty foul. And the Spurs finally got tired of it. So Wemby told his backups, man, go get some get back for me. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I believe in an eye for eye.
But here's what's wild. That was game 5. By the time game 6 arrived in San Antonio, the Spurs didn't just turn the page. They doubled down. Carter Bryant trucked Shai Gilgeous-Alexander so hard that officials spent nearly 3 full minutes reviewing.
It wasn't that hard. You've got to be freaking crazy. That was just a normal foul. There's a reason they didn't call a technical on it.
Replay footage to decide whether to upgrade it to a flagrant call. SGA was furious. The Thunder were furious. And the entire league is now asking, did Wembanyama set a tone that changed this whole series? We're going to break down every single hard foul, every controversial moment, every whisper and cheap shot from this series. And at the end, we're going to talk about what happens when it all comes down to one winner take all game 7. Let's get into it. Before we even get to game 6, we need to go back to the end of game 5 because that's where this entire story starts. And it's one of the wildest endings to a playoff game you'll see in a long time. The Thunder had just handled San Antonio by a score of 127.
Positive affirmations help.
They didn't handle them though in the right way. They didn't handle them playing ethical basketball. They handed them that by flopping and foul baiting and grabbing and fouling the shit out of other team. So when it comes back around, you guys want to cry about it and complain about it.
You to know about it.
Hey, did you know you might get a big cash payout if you were in a car accident up to 1 year ago? Even if you weren't driving. Just click the link around this video to see how much.
114. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander dropped
32 points, but 16 of them were fucking free throws. 16 points of his 32 points were free throws.
32 points and 9 assists. Jared McCain, in his first career playoff start, put up 20 points. The game was done. The Spurs were preparing for their offseason, or so everyone thought. With about 2 minutes left on the clock, San Antonio head coach Mitch Johnson began sending in his end of the bench reserves. Mason Plumlee and Bismack Biyombo. Standard stuff in a blowout loss, right? Except that before either one of those guys stepped onto the floor, cameras caught Victor Wembanyama pulling them close one by one, whispering something in their ears. Nobody thought much of it in the moment. Then, Plumlee checked in, and with their bench erupt, coaches jumped up wanting a flagrant call. Referees reviewed it on the spot and let it go with a common foul.
Yeah,
McCain
it wasn't
got
a
up slowly,
flagrant.
jogged
That was just a common foul. Y'all making too much of this.
to the free throw line, and
Yeah, he probably did tell him hard fouls, but this wasn't a technical. This should have never been a flagrant.
here is a part that is genuinely unbelievable. Plumlee looked at him and said, and these are McCain's own words after the game, "I got another one for you too." Less than a minute later, Bismack Biyombo hit McCain with a hard foul driving to the basket
Good.
and sent him crashing to the ground again. The league reviewed Plumlee's foul the following day, and upgraded it to a flagrant 1, officially determining it was, quote, unnecessary contact committed by a player against an opponent.
Oh my God, are we fucking being for real right now? Them were just hard playoff fouls. You guys have been doing this all series, and now when it happens to you, you want to cry about it? Are we dead serious right now?
He acknowledged the call should have been made on the floor, but none of that punishment means anything compared to what was confirmed on the NBC broadcast before Game 6 tipped off, and lip readers and the broadcast team confirmed it. The man was mouthing the words hard fouls directly to his players before they stepped on the court. The guy who has been praised all season as an ethical hooper.
That's not being unethical. How is that being unethical? That's just called get back. That's called I'm gonna make my you know what I mean, my people that are about to come in, get y'all back for what you've been doing to me all series. And then we're gonna come in Game 6 and put belt to ass and beat the fuck out of y'all. And we're gonna make this go to Game 7. That's just what happened.
The player who the entire basketball world points to as the anti-villain, the alien who plays the game purely, that guy just ran a cold rag on the 22-year-old rookie in garbage time of a game that was already over. And that set the table for everything that followed in Game 6. Now let's talk about Game 6.
That's not the same thing as what OKC does. There's a difference. Wemby was reacting and getting back at the unethical and dirty play that OKC does
itself, because the dirty play didn't stop when the Spurs got home to the Frost
That's
Bank.
not a dirty play. He just went through the string.
Talk about Game 6 itself, because the dirty
it's a hard foul. It's a hard foul, but that's
play
not
didn't
dirty.
stop when the Spurs got home to the Frostbank Center. If anything, San Antonio came out with even more edge. The tone was set from the opening tip, and it was clear that this Spurs team had internalized the message their star sent them after Game 5. They were not going down quietly. Victor Wembanyama himself came out absolutely on fire in the first half.
Yeah, he set the tone. He wasn't playing dirty. He set the tone for like, all right, this is what we're about to do. Why did they just show this old picture of Wemby though when he came into the league? That's against the Bucks. Look how short Giannis is next to Wemby. That's insane.
Then back-to-back three-pointers to open the game and forcing Oklahoma City into a timeout just 2 minutes into the contest. The crowd in San Antonio was electric, and the Spurs built leads that at times felt unmanageable for OKC. But behind all of that, the physicality that was whispered into existence in Game 5 showed up in full force in Game 6. And the moment that had everyone hitting rewind happened late in the second quarter. With 1 minute and 35 seconds left before halftime, rookie wing Carter Bryant, who had been playing hard-nosed defense on SGA throughout the series and already had some good moments on offense in this game, set his feet to make a play on the two-time MVP. What happened next went well beyond a standard playoff foul.
Oh my God, you have to be kidding me. No, it did not. He just tried to run through Shea. This has happened a million times in playoff basketball. Look what freaking Kobe Bryant did to Paul Gasol in the Olympics. Ran straight through his chest when Paul Gasol was trying to set a screen.
Bryant didn't just foul shy. He ran directly through him, full body collision. Zero attempt to play the ball, just a straight up trucking of the best player on the floor. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander went down hard. The whistle blew immediately. And then something unusual happened. The referee.
Unusual?
I vape, but I don't like it.
I bet it was not unusual. Let me guess. They called it a normal foul. Oh yeah, they did. I remember. I was watching the game. Come on now.
Call it and move on. And something unusual happened. The referees didn't just call it and move on. They huddled. They reviewed the footage. They watched the play from multiple angles.
And he didn't. You know why they? Sorry, y'all. You know why they didn't call it a flagrant foul or a technical? Because he didn't raise his elbow up. He didn't extend through or nothing. It was just a playoff foul.
For nearly 3 minutes on national television, millions of people sat waiting to see whether Carter Bryant was getting hit with a flagrant foul. The crowd in San Antonio buzzed with nervous energy. The Thunder coaching staff stood on the sideline watching the monitors with intensity. After all that review, the officials determined it was a common foul. Not flagrant, not a dangerous play.
It wasn't.
Just a foul.
It was just a foul.
OKC got their free throws. The game moved on. But Scott did not hide how he felt about that call. His body language said everything. And Thunder fans watching at home said the rest on social media. The Bryant foul on SGA is the centerpiece of the Game 6 conversation. But it wasn't the only moment that
It wasn't a technical, it wasn't a flagrant, it was just a common foul. Are we being serious right now?
raised eyebrows. Throughout the game, the Spurs were playing with a kind of desperation and physicality that walked the line between playoff intensity and something more calculated. The Thunder were dealing with a Spurs roster that had been given, intentionally or not, the green light from their best player to be physical, not in the way good teams are physical.
Are we being serious? This is the way they're playing, the way playoff basketball should be played physically. The way OKC plays physically in this series is dirty physical. There's a difference. OKC is just playing physical basketball. Spurs are just playing physical basketball. OKC is playing dirty physical basketball, stepping on people's feet while they're trying to jump, pulling people's arms, pulling their dreads. And then they got mad because Wemby did it back. Well, it's just get back. Y'all pulled our teammates' dreads, we're going to pull your teammates' dreads. What are you talking about?
But in the way that makes opponents have to think about protecting their bodies while also trying to play basketball. That's
literally how the Spurs have been having to play against OKC the entire series. And now that the tables are turned, you guys are mad?
Tactical advantage. And whether Wembanyama meant it that way or not, it functioned exactly like that. Think about what it does to a player's mindset when in the previous game, your teammate got elbowed in the back and then threatened with another one while standing at the free throw line. You can say it's all competition, you can say you respect it, and McCain genuinely seemed to laugh it off with grace. But somewhere in the back of your mind, there is a different kind of awareness when you're driving the lane in Game 6. That psychological weight is real. Physical intimidation in playoff basketball is not new. It has a history as long as the sport itself.
So how do you think the Spurs have felt the whole time every time Wemby goes to the rim and you guys are pulling his arm from the back or trying to take his feet out from under him, or every time they're at the free throw line and Wemby tries to go up to shoot or go up to grab the rebound, he has to worry about if somebody's standing on his feet and trying to tear his ACL. It's the same thing. And now that it's happening back to y'all, you guys want to get mad?
From the bad boy Pistons to the 90s Knicks to the Suns and Mavericks battles of the mid-2000s, teams have always used physicality to try to disrupt opposing stars. But there's a difference between being physical within the flow of the game and sending players in specifically instructed to make hard contact.
God.
That difference is exactly what has the basketball world divided right now. Half of the league sees Wembanyama as a competitor who refused to go down without sending the message. The other half sees a young superstar who in one moment did something that contradicts the reputation he spent 3 years building. And the question that's hanging over everything heading into Game 7 is simple. Did it work? Did the Spurs get inside the Thunder's heads? Let's look at what the numbers in the film actually tell us about Game 6. Because the dirty play narrative is important, but the basketball result is equally significant. The Spurs won this game 118-91. It was not close. San Antonio led wire to wire, and they put the Thunder away with a third quarter that was genuinely historically dominant, 32-13 in a single quarter. That is the Thunder's lowest scoring quarter of the entire 2026 season. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the man who dropped 32 points in Game 5, was held to just 15 points on 6 of 18 shooting. That is the Shai nobody expected to see in a must-win game. And a lot of that can be traced back to the Spurs' physicality. When you're a guard who lives in the paint, who draws fouls as naturally as other players dribble, when you're a player who has been compared to a foul magnet all series long, getting hit hard by a rookie...
Nobody's calling him a foul magnet. If you're a foul magnet, you just get fouled naturally in the flow of the game. People are calling him a foul baiter because he draws the fouls intentionally and it's not in the flow of the game. That's different. If you're a foul magnet, you just go to the rim hard and you get fouled a lot. You just naturally get fouled a lot. That's the difference. Nobody has ever called him a foul magnet. I've never heard that in my life.
Quarter changes things. It puts a thought in your head. How hard are they going to come at me this half? How physical is this going to get? And those thoughts, even momentary, can cost you rhythm, cost you a
Try a whole world of delicious.
Y'all see me keep doing that. I got a tooth that broke off that I had to get fixed at the dentist. He did fix it, but the piece that he fixed fell back out, so I got to get it refixed.
you the thing that makes you elite. The Spurs held OKC to 35 of 95 shooting on the night. The whole team shot 36.8%. In the series where the Thunder had been dominant at home and pushed San Antonio up games, this was a complete reversal. Wembanyama finished with 28 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Stephon Castle put up 17 points, 5 rebounds, and 9 assists. His 8th game of 15-5-5 in these playoffs. A number that in the history of the NBA has only been beaten among rookies and sophomores by Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. Dylan Harper added 18 points in just 22 minutes of play.
Those are solid numbers for a rookie, man.
Spurs were not just physical in Game 6. They were also genuinely the better basketball team on the night. And Carter Bryant, the rookie who bowled over the 2-time MVP, had himself a half to remember on both ends of the floor before that controversial foul. A powerful two-handed dunk in the second quarter put San Antonio up 55-43 and brought the Frostbank Center completely unglued. This kid is 22 years old in an elimination game, and he was playing like he had nothing to fear. Maybe because his best player told him not to. Now here's the layer of this story that most people are either glossing over.
You want your little rookie to be out there not scared. Go guard that man. He ain't got nothing on you. He ain't the real MVP. You got the MVP on your team. I mean, to me, this year Wemby wasn't the MVP. Neither was Shea. It was clearly Luka. But either way, Wemby's way better than Shea. And so like, and Wemby's telling him probably like, man, you already got the MVP on your team. Why are you scared of him? Like, go get his ass. You know what I mean? Like, that type of
overcorrecting on. And it's the one I think matters most heading. Victor Wembanyama is 22 years old. He is 3 years into his NBA career. He has already shown the basketball world things we've never seen from someone his size.
No, we've
the
never
shooting
seen
range,
anybody do something
the defensive
like him.
instincts, the handle, the vision. He is as close to a transcendent talent as the sport has produced in a generation.
Facts.
And the basketball world has been protective of that image because the game needs a player like him to love. But in Game 5, something cracked that image just a little. Not because what he did was some unforgivable sin in basketball terms. Hard fouls have been a part of playoff culture forever, and plenty of coaches and stars have sent messages that way. The crack happened because of the gap between who the world believed Wembanyama to be and what the camera caught him doing. He was the ethical.
Nothing he did was unethical. If you watch Wemby, you know that he's a fighter. You know, like, he is an intense person. He has that I want to kill you gene in him like Kobe and Michael had. They weren't out there trying to be your friends. They were out there trying to kill you. For real, like, obviously, metaphorically, I'm talking about in the game of basketball, but, like, they were out there trying to rip your fucking head off. For real, like, Kobe and Michael were not trying to be your friends. They were not fun to be around because they wanted to kill you. For real, like.
Hooper, the alien who played clean. And then he was caught mouthing hard fouls to back up bigs before sending them in to rough a 22-year-old rookie. That dissonance is what the internet ran with. That's why the story grew so fast. And that's also why his response, or rather his non-response, he skipped media availability after Game 5 entirely, added more fuel to the fire. Going into Game 6, Wembanyama's biggest challenge wasn't the Thunder defense, or Chet Holmgren posting him up, or the travel back to San Antonio. It was proving that all of that noise wasn't getting to him. And by every measure, the answer was yes. He handled it. The man who scored 20 points on 4 of 15 shooting in Game 5 came out in Game 6 and went for 28, 10, and 3. He outscored his entire Game 5 box score before halftime. He entered the break with 22 points on 9 of 16 shooting, including 4 of 8 from 3. Whoever was said or not said.
He didn't even have to play much of the fourth quarter, really. He sat a lot because even in his non-Wemby minutes throughout the game, like, he was able to sit longer because they were winning the non-Wemby minutes for the first time in the series.
Whoever guilt or motivation came from that sideline moment, he channeled it into what might have been his best half of basketball in this entire series. But let's not pretend the Spurs can fully escape the conversation about what that culture of physicality might cost them in Game 7. Here's what's real. When you are the team that is perceived to be playing dirty, the referees notice. Your opposing coaching staff notices.
The Spurs aren't the ones playing dirty. The OKC is the team playing dirty. What are we talking about? All these plays you guys have showed in this live stream are just hard playoff fouls. They're not dirty fouls. Dirty fouls are pulling somebody by their dreads, pulling somebody's arm from the back while you're going up, trying to kick somebody's legs out from under them while they're going up for a layup, trying to fucking step on people's feet and dislocate or tear their ACLs and dislocate shit like that and step on Wemby's long feet when you know he's prone to feet injuries. Like, those are dirty plays. What Carter Bryant did was a hard playoff play. There's a difference.
Importantly, the NBA officiating crew for Game 7 will walk onto that floor, having watched every moment of this series, having seen the flagrant one that was missed in real time and upgraded the next day, having seen the Carter Bryant-Scott collision that required 3 minutes of review, having seen Wembanyama's whisper confirmed by the broadcast. None of that disappears. Playoff officiating is human. Reputation plays a role, and the Thunder, for all their frustration about foul calls going against them throughout this postseason, they are the defending champions. The 2025 NBA champions. They know how to play on the road, they know how to close series, and they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who despite shooting 6 of 18 in Game 6, is the single most dangerous offensive player in basketball.
Not even close. Not when he's not getting his free throws. When he's not getting his free throws, we've seen what happens. 15 points, 18 points, 20 points. That's what happens when he doesn't get his free throws.
Ball right now when he is locked in. This is the same man who went 16 of 17 from the free throw line in Game 5. The same player who has drawn fouls at a historic rate throughout this playoff run. The same MVP who has been the best player in the NBA for 2 straight years.
Not even close.
One bad game does not change who Shai.
He was never last year should have been Joker. This year should have been Luka. He should never have had an MVP. Ever. He should have never won an MVP. But he goes based off of feelings and how people feel about players, not based off of actual stats and who's the best real player in the MVP or in the NBA. It doesn't go off of that. It goes off of who people feel like is the best player in the NBA.
And the Spurs, after everything, the whispers, the hard fouls, the Carter Bryant moment, the blowout win, they still have to go through him one more time. When the Western Conference Finals matchup between Oklahoma City and San Antonio was announced, plenty of people across the media landscape treated it like a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, I think Spurs take it. As long as OKC isn't getting the calls that they always do, as long as it's called evenly, I think Spurs win. What is that? When is the game?
Conclusion. The Thunder were the defending champions, the #1 seed in the West. The team that had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the 2-time reigning MVP, at the height of his powers. The Spurs were the surprise story, a young team built around Wembanyama games that narrative held. OKC controlled the early going. The Thunder's physicality on defense, the grabbing and holding that Wembanyama has dealt with all series long, from Isaiah Hartenstein and Jalen Williams, the way Oklahoma City's bigs used their bodies to prevent him from getting to his spots, it was effective.
It wasn't effective, it was fouling.
Has dealt with more mugging under the rim in this series than maybe any big man in recent playoff memory. And while the conversation has centered around scoff-flopping and drawing fouls, the other side of that coin is that Oaksy's defense has also been physical, to the point where the Spurs have had their own legitimate complaints about officiating. So when people talk about the Spurs playing dirty, there is context. There is a series-long physical conversation that has been happening, and Game 5's garbage time moment was not created in a vacuum. It was a reaction. Extreme, controversial, wrong by many standards, but a reaction nonetheless. Wembanyama has been held, grabbed, elbowed, and shoved for 5 games. Whether ordering hard fouls was the right response is a separate question, but understanding the buildup is essential to understanding why it happened. And now, We're at a place in this story where everything either gets resolved or gets even more complicated. Game 7, Saturday night, Oklahoma City, Paycom Center, the loudest building in the NBA, hosting what might be the most anticipated single game of the 2026 postseason. The Knicks are already in the finals, sitting, waiting, rested, watching, and whoever survives this, the defending champion Thunder, who own home court, who have the MVP, who have the championship experience, or the Spurs, who just delivered a 27-point blowout on the road in an elimination game, who have the best young big man alive playing at full volume. They are going to be battle tested in a way that no amount of preparation can replicate. Here is what I believe happens in Game 7. This is not speculation. This is analysis built on everything we've watched across 6 games, 3 weeks, and for one of the most physical series the Western Conference has produced in years. Victor Wembanyama is going to have to be the best player on the floor.
Fact.
Not just the best player the Spurs have, the best player in the building. And given what we saw in Game 6, given that he clearly has the ability to be that player, there is a real case that he can do it. The Spurs will be physical again. They will be aggressive. Carter Bryant will get minutes. Biyombo is in the building. The energy of Game 5 and Game 6 does not just evaporate before tip, but OKC at home is a different equation. The crowd at Paycom Center is going to be absolutely deafening. SGA is going to have a point to prove after Game 6. The Thunder's identity as a team is built on resilience, on the kind of even killed, no excuses culture that Sam Presti has built over the last few years. They do not spiral, they adjust. And the adjustment they're going to make in Game 7 is going to be prepared, targeted, and relentless. The Wembanyama angle though, that's the part I keep coming back to. Because win or lose in Game 7, this series has changed something about how the basketball world sees him. He came in regarded as the cleanest superstar in the sport. He had one necessarily. Not the villain label that the internet tried to pin on him for a day or two, but a more complex one, a human one, a competitive one. The man who plays the
Anybody that watches Victor should have known this already. Like, if you actually watched the game, you should have known he wasn't out there to make friends. What are we talking about? He plays ethical basketball. Nobody said he was out there to make friends, though, and doesn't want to hurt you. We seen that with the elbow. What are we talking about? We've been seeing that when he gets freaking on the ground and he's screaming and wants to rip your head off. We've done seen this. He ain't out there trying to make friends.
alien game now also plays chess. He thinks about intimidation. He thinks about message sending. He thinks about what it means to fight for your season with everything available to you, including whispers in the ears of backup centers before garbage time. That is not the sanitized version of Wembanyama that the leagues markedly knew he was crossing. And in a way, that makes him more interesting. Not just the beautiful alien game, not just the impossible shot making and the outstretched arms swatting shots into the third row. Now there's a competitive edge that the world didn't know was there. Now there's a Wembanyama who, when his back is against the wall, will do whatever it takes.
Yes.
That version of Wembanyama is terrifying for the rest of the league, not just because of the basketball, but because of what it means for the long-term future of a player who is already the most talented big man the sport has ever seen. Here's the final reality of everything we've covered. The Spurs came into Game 6 having been declared dead by most of the basketball world. The Thunder had a 3-2 series lead. They had home court advantage through the series. They had the 2-time MVP playing some of the best basketball of his career. The Spurs had a complicated week with Wembanyama avoiding reporters, a flagrant one being confirmed after the fact, a league-wide debate about whether their franchise star had ordered hits on a 22-year-old rookie, and a road environment in Oklahoma City that was going to be completely hostile. And they won by 27 points. They led from start to finish. They put up 32 points in a single quarter against the number 1 seed in the West. They got 28-10-3 from Wembanyama. They got 9 assists from a 20-year-old in Stephon Castle. They turned a potential series-ending loss into a Game 7 and kept their season alive in exactly the most dominant way possible. Wherever you think about the hard fouls, wherever you think about Wembanyama's whisper, wherever you think about Carter Bryant running over the MVP of the NBA, those Spurs won that game with basketball too. And that is the part of the story that matters just as much as any controversial foul. The physicality got the attention. The basketball earned the result. Game 7 is Saturday night. The whole world is watching. And one way or another, we're going to find out if the Spurs' edge is enough to finish the job, or if
I think it's long clean. I think the Spurs. But if it's not called clean, if it's not called not clean, if it's not called even, Physical ball on both sides, I'm cool with, as long as it's called even.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to remind everyone exactly why he has back-to-back MVP trophies sitting at home. Don't miss it. Let me add one more dimension to this story that I don't think is getting nearly enough attention. Throughout this entire series has largely been about SGA and the foul drawing. 31 media members wrote 17 different versions of the same article about whether Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is gaming the referees.
100%
A fan
he
on
is.
X went viral for cataloging all 44 times SGA hit the floor in this postseason and ranking them from least to most egregious. Reggie Miller went on the Dan Patrick Show to defend him before Game 5. Underdog Sports launched an entire branded game built around the concept of SGA drawing fouls, a game that Shai liked so little that his legal team sent a cease and desist. The media conversation was dominated by Shai's foul drawing for most of this series, and while the debate is real and worth having, it completely overshadowed the opposite story, that the Thunder's defense has been the most physical unit in the entire 2026 playoffs, and the Spurs have been on the receiving end of it game after game. Victor Wembanyama has been grabbed under the rim by Isaiah Hartenstein so many times that the Clips could fill a highlight reel on their own. Jalen Williams has a habit of getting physical with Wemby's arms before he catches the ball, disrupting timing before a touch even happens. The Thunder are not an innocent party in the physicality debate. They are one of the most effective defensive teams in the league. Precisely.
The difference is the Spurs aren't flopping with the physicality. The OKC is.
Because they understand how far they can push the rules on that end of the floor. And the referees, as Miss Johnson carefully noted before Game 6, have generally given OKC's defense more
Way
leeway
more,
than San Antonio's offense.
Why?
The Spurs feel like
Why
they
did
have
they
been
just
playing
show DeMar DeRozan on the Spurs? That's so old.
defense more leeway than San Antonio's offense. The Spurs feel like they have been playing in a tilted environment for this entire series. That is the context behind Wembanyama's whisper. That is the fire that produced the moment. Did the Spurs respond in a way that crossed the line?
No.
Arguably yes, and the league's upgrade of Plumlee's foul says so officially. But if you want to understand,
It says that it was
why
a hard foul. It doesn't say that it crossed the line. Okay, they upgraded it to a technical. Technicals happen in playoff basketball 24/7. That wasn't across the line. Did Wemby say go foul him hard? Probably. But it's only get back for what's been happening for 5 games.
player like Wembanyama,
It's
3
not
years in the
crossing
league,
the line.
still learning the game's edges, surrounded by veterans who've been dealing with OKC's physicality all series, arrived at that moment. You have to watch the whole series, not just the final 2 minutes of Game 5. There's another angle here that keeps coming up in the conversation around this series, and it connects directly to what we're going to see in Game 7. The Thunder are trying to do something the league hasn't seen in nearly a decade: back-to-back championships. That's the stated mission. That's the fuel behind every decision this Oklahoma City team makes. And the Spurs, despite exceeding every preseason expectation just by being here, are standing between OKC and history. That weight is on both sides of this.
You know you
I
can
mean,
be vaping formaldehyde.
As much as I hate on OKC, I don't necessarily hate Shea that much as like a ball player. Like I keep saying that in the videos. Like
I'm gonna go back to
Shea, outside of the flopping and shit, is actually a really good ball player.
For the Thunder, losing Game
And he
7 at
doesn't
home
play
in the
dirty
Western
like Chet Holmgren and Hardenstein and Lou Dort. They play dirty. Shea does not. Shea's not doing the dirty fouls and shit. Yes, he's foul baiting like crazy. Yes, he's falling the ground like crazy. But outside of that, I don't necessarily hate Shea. I don't like the way the Thunder play. I think they're a dirty team, but I don't think Shea's a dirty player.
Conference Finals will be one of the most painful exits in recent memory. They had the series. They were 1 game away, and they let a road team with a 22-year-old rookie and a 7'3" alien take them to the
He
brink.
was 7'3" when he came.
For the Spurs,
7'3", 7'4" when he came into the league. He has grown since then. He's like 7'6".
winning Game 7 in Oklahoma will be arguably the biggest moment in franchise history since the Tim Duncan era. It will validate everything the rebuild was built around. It will send Wembanyama to his first NBA Finals at age 22, and it will make all of the controversy from the last week, the whisper, the hard fouls, the dirty play headlines, part of the greatest origin story the next era of Spurs basketball could possibly have. So when you think about Carter Bryant trucking Ska, when you think about Mason Plumlee dropping an elbow on Jared McCain and then daring him to do something about it, when you think about Bismack Biyombo hitting that same kid twice in the span of 60 seconds, when you think about Wembanyama, the alien, the ethical hooper, leaning over to his veterans in the final minutes of a game his team was losing and whispering 2 words that changed the entire conversation around this series. Understand that all of it happened because this is a team that refuses to accept the ceiling the basketball world placed on them.
Yeah.
And Game 7 is their chance to blow that ceiling apart entirely.
Okay.
So here's where we land.
That's facts.
The Spurs played dirty in this series.
No.
The evidence is
The Spurs clearly didn't play dirty in this series. What are we talking about? You're talking about one play by Plumlee where he plowed over somebody where it could have been Wemby saying, go give him a hard foul. 2 fouls. And within 30 seconds at the end of Game 5 that you can maybe say were dirty. The whole series was dirty by OKC, but we're talking about 2 plays in 30 seconds at the end of Game 5, and you're going to say the Spurs played dirty?
documented, league reviewed, and upgraded to official. Victor Wembanyama was caught on camera telling his players to go out and deliver hard fouls. And the NBC broadcast lip read it and confirmed it to the entire country before Game 6 even tipped off. Carter Bryant ran over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with enough force that they triggered a 3-minute review in the second quarter.
And they didn't call a technical or a flagrant because it wasn't a technical or a flagrant. You keep saying they reviewed it for 3 minutes, but they didn't upgrade it because it wasn't. It was just a hard foul.
The pattern is real. The intent was visible. And the result was a 27-point blowout that forces a Game 7 that nobody who picked the Thunder in 5 games was prepared to discuss. But here's the thing about Game 7 that every single person watching needs to understand. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been in this position before. The Thunder have been in this position before.
Yeah, and the only time they were ever in a Game 7 and pushed to their limits like this before, they won because the best player got hurt. What happens in Game 7 of last year's finals if Tyrese Halliburton doesn't go down? What happens? It'd be a whole different Game 7. Last time Thunder was in this position, they won when the best player went out. So what happens in Game 7 when Wemby's there the whole time? They've never been in this position. You say they've been in this position because they've been in tough positions. They won a championship, of course. But they've never been in the position they are right now. The closest they were was Game 7 of the finals last year, but the best player got hurt. They didn't actually have to play the whole Game 7 with the best player on the court and actually see who was the best team.
4. They are the defending champions precisely because when everything is on the line, that team finds a way. And when SGA is fully locked in, when a 32-point, 9-assist version of SGA shows up, not the 6 of 18.
Yeah, 32-point, though, has to show up only when the calls are getting called his way. Every time he drops 30 or 40, bro, he's got 15 points and free throws.
Version, there is no defense in the Western Conference that can stop him. The Spurs will be physical. They will be desperate. They will play with the edge that Wembanyama's whisper put in the air. But physical basketball does not beat elite basketball forever. And Saturday night in Oklahoma City.
But, okay, San Antonio has the more elite basketball. If we're looking at the team overall, the team that has actually the most depth and the most elite basketball players is San Antonio, not OKC.
When the lights are brightest,
OKC has a lot of scrubs that look good on nights against average teams.
Crowd is loudest, and the whole
Like
basketball world.
Lou Dort looks good against average teams. As soon as he gets in there with somebody like San Antonio, look, he has been nobody, dropping like 4 points a game.
Eyes on one game, we are going to find out whether the Spurs' incredible run comes to an end, or whether Victor Wembanyama walks into his first NBA Finals carrying all of this with them. Whichever way it goes, this was one of the best series in recent Western Conference history. And no matter who wins, the story of what happened in these 6 games, the hard fouls, the whispers, the controversies.
Yeah, man. Man, let me know what y'all think below. Make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, man. It's still live checking out. I'll be back live probably in like an hour or so. Man, peace out, y'all.